Welcome back to Lena Created, where we talk about creativity, monetization, and future-proofing our business. So a lot of you know, if you've been following me, you know that I am currently working on my second children's book. What you might not know is that my process for creating my children's book is kind of opposite to a lot of other people. Because I actually designed the characters years ago, I actually create the cover for the book in advance of actually putting the book together and everything like that. So what I do is a kind of a ritual now. I paint the portrait of the character that I'm going to be creating a book for. This book is about Frida, the famous fashion fish, and this is the design that I'm going by. And what I do for each of these characters, I take the original design and then I just elaborate it a little bit more and add a few details that go with the actual book that I ended up writing. So right now I'm going to show you the finished artwork. Ta-da! So I was able to create a nice blown up image of Frida. And so she looks really, really beautiful. I'm really happy with how it came out. And what I'm gonna do, I'm also gonna show you a time-lapse video to show you how it was all done. So stay tuned so you can see the beginning to the end, from when I got the canvases, unboxed the canvases, marked up my grid, everything like that. You'll be able to see my whole process from beginning to end of creating this artwork. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is going to be really helpful for those of you that are painters. Maybe you want to learn how to blow up your artwork, make it bigger than your original design. You want to learn how to blow up your image onto a canvas. This is going to show you one of the ways that I do it. And I'm going to do a commentary so you can see. I'll explain exactly what I'm doing in the video. So I do thank you very much for watching. Do make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And check it out. Alright, so I was able to pick up this pack of 3 assorted canvases. I got them from Home Bargain, which was fantastic. Only $6, and they were 20 by 30, 30 by 40, and 40 by 50. I'm going to use the 40 by 50 canvas, and I'm going to be marking them out so that I have inch squares all over the canvas. So in inches, it's like approximately about 16 by 20 inches. Maybe like 15 and a half by 19 and a half. And the artwork measures out to be 20 by 16, so 16 by 20. And so, basically just sacrifice that last inch. Just cut the last inch in half. It doesn't make a huge difference on the artwork. You really can't tell the difference. But like the main thing with this, you just have to be real careful. Make sure that you have the ruler lined up. I have this really great big wide ruler that came with my my cutting mat. So that's what I use to do my to do this grid on my canvases, and I just use a mechanical pencil to draw the lines. First thing is first, I make sure that I put I put the measurements of the dots. I put the dot measurements of each inch along the sides of each side of the canvas, vertically and horizontally, so that I know exactly where I'm going to be placing my lines, and then I just score my lines out until I have a grid. Then after that, what I do is I put it up on my easel and I follow the plan. I follow the original artwork, which is on a grid. So I just copy each square. I copy each square onto my canvas exactly how it's drawn on the plan. I do use a little bit of creative license to like improve upon the design, just to make it look even better than it did in the original artwork. So yeah, it does take a bit of time because I wanted to make sure I didn't make any mistakes, because that's pretty expensive as far as time's concerned, trying to get rid of the dark lines. So I just make sure that I put it on there the right way the first time as much as possible. So I'm drawing the foreground and the background all at the same time, just square by square. And eventually it looks something like this. And to draw on the canvas, I used charcoal pencils. They were like regular pencils, but they're made of charcoal, and they're just a bit more tougher and bigger, so you could see the markings much more clearer. Right now, what I do after I've put the design onto the canvas, I go ahead and I add gesso to the grid markings so that they don't show through the artwork, because that was a problem that I had with the Lionel the Lion artwork, actually, because I did not do this. You can actually see the lines of the grid that I put on the canvas. So to avoid that, this time I'm putting a nice a few layers of gesso, which is a thick white acrylic paste, you could say. It comes in a tub, and you use that to basically, like, if you have a canvas of artwork, if you got an artwork that you don't want anymore but you want to use the canvas again, you can paint over an old artwork and start over. So that's what gesso is for. So that's why I use it, to cover up any lines or any mistakes on the canvas before I start painting. And when I'm done, it looks like this. It's not completely gone, but it's not going to be visible once the paint is on there. So now I'm just putting a wash of yellow paint on the canvas before I start painting. This is my first time doing the underpainting. So yeah, I thought I'd try it out because I do see everybody doing it that way, and it looks really good and vibrant. So thought I'd give it a go, give it a whirl. I just basically watered down some yellow paint and just spread it on the canvas. Before I did this, I actually did spray the canvas with I sprayed the canvas with hairspray so that the charcoal wouldn't go sliding everywhere and ruin the image. Alright, so once the yellow wash was dry, I then started painting on the background. So right now I'm just doing like the kelp or whatever, the green area of the background, filling that in, and basically gonna eventually let that dry as well before moving on to the actual watercolor, which is blue, that goes in the other spot. This was straight out the tube. Let's see what color it was. This green was called pale green gouache paint. I used gouache paint for this whole project because I just love gouache. Gouache is like so vibrant and it's very opaque, so you get a really good result when you use gouache paint. So I definitely do recommend it. It's a type of acrylic paint, and it kind of mimics oil paints in a way, because of its opacity and how, you know, thick and premium kind of paint it is, you know. All the time I'm just keep referring back to the original artwork to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes and I'm putting the paint where it needs to be each time. Alright, now I'm putting in the blue. So for this blue, I did use like a aqua type of blue. Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, the color of blue that I used for the water here was cerulean blue, and then I used a little white to just make it a little lighter. So the background is cerulean blue, bit of white, and then the green is just a pale green. Alright, now I'm working on the body of Frida, so I'm using a color called orange red, and that's just filling out the base of the color scheme that she has on her body. That's like the majority, like her lips, parts of her flipper, parts of her body, and her tail. It's all gonna be that deep orange because she's a goldfish. She's a massive goldfish, but she's a goldfish. Did you know that goldfish, if you put them in the ocean, they get huge like a tuna? I just found that out. So it's pretty accurate. I thought I was being ridiculous when I invented Frida, but she really could have been that big. Now I'm going in with a slightly lighter orange to give it some dimension. She's got different shades of orange on her. That lighter orange, let's see what color that one is. That is orange yellow. So I did an orange red and orange yellow. It's basically an orange that skews yellow and an orange that skews red, obviously. Right, so now I got some yellow ochre. Yeah, so yellow ochre is what I use for the lighter parts of her body. So the lighter tones like her face and the back part of her body, and then the highlights on like the fins, or the highlights on the fins, the highlights on the tail, and also on some of the scales as well, to show, you know, the different shades on there and the highlights. I did a lot of blending so that she looks three-dimensional as well. Took me a little bit of time to kind of get the texture right as well on the skin. This is definitely the most time consuming part of this, but it was fun still to try to, I don't know where that piece of green came from, probably the palette, because I don't be cleaning my palette out. I just wait till it dries and peel it off. But yeah, sometimes that backfires and I end up with a chunk of the color that I do not want on there. But I feel like it kind of added a little gravitas to her, because, you know, who is really like solid colors? There's always like little discoloration, so she's got a little patch of a darker color on there. Doesn't look too bad. So now I'm just adding some texture, and I'll just put in little splotches where to indicate like scales on the skin and just give it a little bit more like texture and dimension, using mostly yellow ochre to create those little glimmers, those little glimmers of texture there. Texture and contrast, yes, darling. I'm also using the colors to kind of shape out her face as well, make her face look 3D. And now I'm painting in her eyeballs in nice white. Then I went in with a pale blue and painted in the bubbles. Used various shades of blue, a little bit of a very light blue for the base of the bubble, and then I put a highlight in like a white color at the top of the bubble and around the side to be a reflection of that top line. And then at the bottom I put a darker blue to show a shadow for the bubble. It just gives it more dimension, and then I added a little bit of that darker blue to the bottom of her eyeball to show the 3D-ness of the eye as well. Now I'm just coloring in the eyeball, coloring in the pupil, I should say, just plain black, leaving a little reflection on the top. And then I get started with the outlines of the whole art of her face. We're starting off with the eyeball, and then doing her eyelashes, and then round the lips. Make sure they look nice and puckered. That's her signature lips. Basically, with the outline, you just have to make sure that you don't have too much or too little pigment on the brush. You don't want to have too much paint on there, not too much water, but you don't want it to be dry either, otherwise it's just gonna kind of grate across the canvas. You want it to glide as much as possible so it looks nice and smooth and not too wobbly. I use a very fine line, a fine brush to do this work as well. You don't want it to be too fat, unless that's what you're going for. But me personally, I did not want it to be too fat, the line, so I want it to be like a fine line. So just go around the whole entire image. I had to get up for this part. To make sure I didn't make any mistakes here on this tail part. And that's it. So now I'm going to be working on these scales and just try to keep this brush moist so that it can glide, because I think I made a little mistake there just because it was too dry. The brush was a little too dry. And then I'm just picking out the little scales there that I drew, the little extra scales, and just putting a little fine line around them as well so they stand out and you can see her scales. I'm just going over and touching up some of the areas there where I see that the paint is kind of patchy. Just putting a bit more green paint in those areas so it looks a bit more vibrant and less amateurish. And I just basically, these bubbles here, I wanted to make them stand out, but I didn't want them to stand out too much, so instead of doing black around it, I did like a navy blue, very dark blue, to help it to stand out. And then I just added a little bit more darker blue, like a darker cerulean, or like the cerulean as it comes out the bottle, to put a bit more shadow down the bottom of the bubbles. Right, now after that, I used some gold paint to, add some highlights to the body. So pretty much everywhere, all around, just adding a few details in the gold. So just putting it on her eyelid, on her fins, and on her tail, and on the scales as well, so that they stand out and they kind of will glimmer as you turn the canvas from side to side. You can actually see it as well, so it looks pretty good. Alright, so that's it. That's how it looks. In the end, I ended up adding in her yellow diamond earring and adding a little ear. If you didn't know, fishes have ears. So this was my finished product, and she's looking beautiful. And I give her a little kiss. Thanks so much. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it was really helpful for you, those of you who are learning about painting or trying to improve upon your paintings. I hope this was helpful for you. And again, I thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you learned in this video. What is it that you will take with you in your journey of painting? Okay, Thanks so much for watching. Have a really great day. Bye bye.